I'm Lucy Kemp, the Director of the Metro Nashville Planning Department, and I'll be moderating our informational session this morning regarding the downtown recovery process and progress. I'd like to thank Mayor Cooper and his office for their leadership and commitment towards a strong recovery effort and for bringing us all together here today again. I welcome all the property owners, residents, and tenants who are on the call with us today. And I'd also like to welcome again Ron Gobble, the project manager overseeing this effort. Also joining us is the Downtown Partnership, who helped organize this information session again, the leadership of Metro departments, representatives from Congressman Cooper's office, and other members of the community who care very much about 2nd Avenue and our city, our community. Thank you for being here today. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Cooper to kick us off.
Well, thank you, Lucy, and I want to thank everybody for joining today's call. In a great development this morning, we learned that the U.S. Small Business Administration is going to make its disaster loan program available to Davidson County, to businesses and residents affected by the explosion on 2nd Avenue. That means low-interest loans will become more readily available to those affected, and that's going to aid the community's recovery process tremendously. I want to thank Governor Lee and TEMA for their assistance, as well as the U.S. Small Business Administration for providing this additional service to our community. I want to thank the Downtown Partnership and the other partners on the ground for advocating for affected businesses. Now, we will share information on how to apply for these loans as soon as we have it. Time is a bit shorter this week, so I want to quickly express my gratitude to all the property owners, to our Metro departments, and to other partners here today who are helping us rebuild 2nd Avenue. These meetings provide an important opportunity to keep our lines of communication open and keep information flowing in all directions. This rebuilding and revitalization holds a lot of promise, not just for downtown, but for all of Nashville. But it's critical that we keep an open and transparent dialogue throughout the process. Now, I especially want to thank our project manager, Ron Gobble, for his hard work and taking command of this opportunity to build back better than even before. We are putting a lot on Ron, but there's nobody better, and he's uniquely qualified for this effort. So I know Ron is ready to begin the visioning process with all of you and everybody in Nashville who loves and cares about the dark downtown, which is all of us. And so with that, I'll like to turn this over to Ron and thank him for his leadership in getting this done for our city. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. And one of the things I've done this past week is to really look at all the work that's happened since Christmas morning. I am truly amazed at really the work that's going on. I've talked to property owners that, knowing that every property is unique, the distance from the bomb blast, the amount of damage they had, it's all unique to their properties. But some property owners have already got their construction teams lined up. They've got everything worked, and they're really in the process of putting it back together already. So, I mean, it's just amazing. On top of that, the nonprofits have started working. We'll hear a little bit more about that later, but they're out there raising funds. You've got the Downtown Partnership organizing these communication sessions. We've got the really dozens of nonprofits and individuals who are coming in with technical expertise and knowledge that's really been invaluable to move it on. And especially all the Metro departments. They've moved in, they're sitting there doing what they can do to really, first of all, make sure it's safe. Second, to start working with the property owners to secure their properties and make them available. And then planning is beginning, and the other agencies are really beginning to look at the long term. So, Mayor, I really do appreciate the opportunity to be involved. I appreciate your leadership. I think we've really gone a long way in the last 30 plus days. We've got a long way to go, and we're going to be talking more about that today and in upcoming weeks. So I'm going to hand it back to Lucy and let her explain a little bit more.
Well, thanks, Ron, and it's an honor to be here today. Again, just a quick procedural note, our goal with this meeting, as was the last informational session, was to sort of focus on the questions and concerns of property owners, businesses, tenants, residents, and the like. We continue to receive questions online and elsewhere, and that really helps us put together the agenda and make sure that we have information relevant that's responsive to those questions. So thank you to the community who's been continuing to engage with us. You can send questions through the chat function here. We'll respond to them if we can. If not, we don't have the time to respond to those. We will post answers on our website through the hub, and you can go there today. You'll see a number of questions already posted there that are responsive to some of the community's concerns. And so at this point, though, I did want to start with Mary Jo Wiggins and our finance team. Mary Jo, you heard a little bit about the announcement from Mayor Cooper. I was wondering if you just had any more details you could share with us about the SBA loans and process and sort of what property owners can do to access that program.
Yes, thank you, Lucy, and thank you, Mayor Cooper, for kicking off with that good news. We did receive this morning a little bit of information, which we will make sure gets into the hands of all of you. But the type of disaster loans, they are typically below market interest rates. They are longer term, and they are available for physical, like the business physical disaster, also economic injury disaster, as well as home disaster. And that home covers both property owners and renters. So it's the Small Business Administration, but it's covering the private property owners, not just businesses. And applications will be, the filing deadline is March 29th. The information that we have does have a phone number and website. And one of the things, as I was talking to some folks from TEMA, is to really emphasize that it's important to apply. You are not required to accept the loan, but it would be really important to make sure that you apply by the deadline to make sure that it's an option for you to move forward with, perhaps something along the lines of, maybe a bridge loan of sorts for you at a time. It is a loan application. There are credit requirements, but again, a little bit more forgiving, both in rates, terms, and eligibility. So we will be happy to share this information, but wanted to make sure that at least at the front end, you all knew that it is not limited to just the businesses impacted, but also property owners and renters.
Thank you. And there is a hotline number that's been provided, and we'll make sure to post that online on the hub with the other information, including key contacts from Metro. So thank you so much for that information. Moving on, Bill Herbert's director of the Codes Department. Bill, I know you've been busy at the site this week. Do you have any updates for us?
Yes, thank you very much, Lucy, and thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to report significant progress over the last week. With the assistance of OEM and the police, we're rapidly transitioning the area on 2nd Avenue between Commerce and Church to a construction zone. Most of the properties in that area have pulled stabilization permits, and there's ongoing construction and cleanup work currently taking place. The exception is 170 through 176 2nd Avenue, which are the most damaged properties. These properties are under common ownership. And on Wednesday of this week, for the first time, we were able to have a conversation with the owner and his representatives regarding their plan to stabilize these structures. In the meantime, the Codes Department has engaged a fence contractor to construct an 8-foot security fence to encapsulate 170 through 176, both along the 2nd Avenue side as well as along the 1st Avenue side. The fence is expected to be in place sometime this week. For other properties along 2nd Avenue between Commerce and Church, the building owners have been very cooperative and have provided reports to us from their structural engineers regarding the stability of their structures and their plans moving forward. Based upon these reports, we've opened the area between Commerce and Church to the owners, their tenants, and their construction professionals for unimpeded access to their property. Appointments are no longer required, nor is an escort from an urban search and rescue person required to access these properties between Commerce and Church. As with any construction site, it's going to be incumbent upon the building owners or their construction professionals to secure their own property. Construction personnel and equipment will be provided access along Church Street. 2nd Avenue, north of Church, is open to vehicular traffic to serve construction personnel and the businesses along that stretch of 2nd Avenue. 2nd Avenue south of Commerce will remain open to pedestrian traffic. 1st Avenue will remain closed to vehicular traffic, but the building owners and construction personnel will be provided access for their respective properties. For all businesses along 2nd that are ready to reopen, please contact OEM Dispatch to schedule a safety inspection. The inspection will be performed by a fire marshal inspector and a building inspector at the same time. The safety inspection can generally be performed within the same day of the request. If the building passes the safety inspection, the business will be allowed to reopen. To request that safety inspection, please contact the OEM at the following number, 615-862-8530. Thanks, Lucy.
Sure. So, Bill, we did receive a couple of questions from residents, and I was hoping you might be the right person to answer. The first was, when we are ready to remove an entire floor's contents, what is that process? Will we be able to have as many people as we need to load trucks with furnishings down the stairs in those structures?
The answer is yes. So we're handing the properties back over under the control of the building owners and their construction professionals. So they're going to have unimpeded access into their own property with their folks. So if their construction people feel like the property is safe, we've reviewed the reports. The reports indicate they're structurally sound. So that's going to be up to the property owners themselves, and they can have as many people in there as they or their construction personnel feel like is safe.
Okay. And then another question from a resident, when would we be able to put a dumpster on 2nd Avenue in front of our building to get rid of things we know are not salvageable?
Yeah, great question. You can put a dumpster down there now. There's no restriction on having a dumpster there. That being said, you will need to contact Public Works and secure their permission to place the dumpster. There are already a number of dumpsters down there, but there's no prohibition about putting a dumpster on 2nd Avenue. The owners or their construction folks are welcome to do that, but please contact Public Works and let them know.
Okay, perfect. At this point, I see Councilman O'Connell's joined us, and I apologize, I didn't see you on the line before. Councilman, how are you today?
I'm busy. I'm trying to be in 2 meetings at once, so appreciate the recognition here. I just wanted to raise an issue that has come up over the past week since we last met that I'm working toward resolution on. I've heard from a few frustrated people trying to get back into their buildings and work on recovery projects that they have been the victim of an effective parking enforcement operation. And so we've had some people receiving parking tickets. I am actually working on this as a part of the relief package. I've reached out to Public Works already to look at this, and I don't know yet if this is going to take the form of a temporary permit that you would work with, or that we might find a radius where we would temporarily bag some of these parking meters. But this is something I'm looking at through the auspices of the Traffic and Parking Commission. But as of right now today, be aware that on-street parking that is metered is being enforced as a part of standard enforcement operations. And so just be sensitive to that until we have a solution, but I'm hoping that we can come up with something in short order. So I just wanted to raise that this morning.
Okay. Thank you for that feedback, and we will certainly look into that. Thank you, Councilman. Okay, next, Tim Walker, who leads our historic department and commission. Tim, I wonder if you could give us an update on some of the activities that you've undertaken.
Thank you, Director Kemp, and thank you, Mayor Cooper. I'm Tim Walker, Director of the Metro Historical Commission, and the Historical Commission is the umbrella organization for the Metro Historic Zoning Commission, the board that reviews and issues permits for exterior work in historic overlay districts like 2nd Avenue. Our staff is continuing to assist 2nd Avenue property owners with their repairs and expediting the issuance of preservation permits. We've already issued a number of permits on 2nd Avenue for work to windows, storefronts, and masonry, and we're ready to help any building owner or tenant as they design and implement their repair solutions. Next week, we'll begin assisting owners with the salvage of building debris, including brick, cast iron columns, metal window hoods, and cornices. And thanks to the district, a preservation consultant will assist us with sorting and cataloging viable building materials. And thanks to Public Works, those materials will be moved to a nearby location for secure storage until they're needed for rebuilding. So if anyone would like salvage assistance, they can contact our office at 615-862-7970, and we'll be happy to help. That's all I have, Lucy, unless you have anything else.
No, that's great. We did receive a number of questions about the brick salvage sorting and storing, and so you answered all of those perfectly. So thank you. And so, Chief Swan, was there anything you wanted to add? I know you're just sort of at the site constantly sort of helping to work security and other issues. Is there anything you wanted to add at this point?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, but actually Bill Herbert, I think he must have got into my computer and got my notes. Him and I, basically, I mirror everything that he says, and I do just want to commend everybody and all the hard work that's been put into this, so thank you.
Excellent. All right, thank you. The last series of questions that we received pertain to sort of a broader sort of long-term vision for this part of downtown along 2nd and 1st. And I want to say that I'm working with the Downtown Partnership, Historic Preservation Office, as well as other leaders in the community to put together a series of workshops in February, right around the corner, to talk about streetscape improvements, urban design quality, public realm, integration with the rest of downtown, as well as assets like our river and the like. And so stay tuned for that. We're focusing on both sort of local organizations, and we've also reached out to groups like the Urban Land Institute to help us think critically about those issues. Tom Turner with the Downtown Partnership has been collecting names of folks across the city who are interested in engaging these issues. And so I would urge the public to continue to do that. And once we have a final date secure, we've got a couple in mind, we'll send those invites out. These are, if anyone has participated in planning department charrettes before, you know that these are interactive sessions. We sit down with folks in small groups, we get feedback, we debate issues. And so we are really looking forward to undertaking that portion of the work program under Ron's leadership, and we'll work with him to make sure that we're fully sort of integrated into the work that he is doing, and So just stay tuned, I would say, on that, but we're tentatively looking at the second and third weeks of February, and we'll post those shortly. And we're going to help, the Civic Design Center is going to help co-sponsor some of those events. So we're looking forward to that. Ron, with that, I was going to close the sort of Metro portion and invite Janet Kurtz here from the district to give us an update, unless, Ron, was there anything just sort of on the Metro work going on site that you would want to add?
Not really, other than I think everybody is working, pulling together. We're all rowing in the same direction. And I'll talk a little bit more after Janet's talk, but I think I think things are going very well. And again, I compliment the work they've already done. It's been tremendous and a huge amount of work. And I'll talk a little bit more after Janet.
Okay. Well, with that, then I would just ask Janet Kurtz to give us an update on some of the work that her group is undertaking. And I know this is one of several fundraising activities, and so we wanted to take the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the work that's being undertaken as part of this session, and we can continue to provide information moving forward. But Janet, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you, Mayor Cooper. Thank you to everyone for all of the hard work that you are putting in. It has been amazing so far in this relatively short amount of time. The Second Ave Strong Fund was created in collaboration with the District Inc. and Metro Historic Commission Foundation. The fund was created by local Nashvillians and has already seen donations come in nationwide. This fund was actually created to support the immediate and long-term needs of restoration and preservation of this vitally important Second Avenue Historic District. The district, just to back up a little bit, the district was born on Second Avenue and is dedicated to maintaining Second Avenue, Broadway, and Printers Alley. And the Metro Historic Commission Foundation is a friends group of the Metro Historic Commission, which assists the Metro Historic Commission to protect, study, and interpret the history of Nashville. So we've already had some great traction already with raising funds, both on a corporate level and through private individuals. We have some really exciting things in the works for continued fundraising. We realize this will be a long-term project while still supporting immediate and long-term needs. And we look forward to contributing to the recovery efforts with the different groups involved and making Second Avenue stronger than before.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I did want to ask Tom Turner at this point if you had anything to add here. I know there have been a number of different fundraising efforts. And Tom, are there other resources that property owners and others should know about?
You know, it's been 5 weeks ago today, and I think it's important to know that situations may have changed for people. So there's a group, it's called VOAD. Of course, there's an acronym, but it's Volunteer Organizations Active in Disasters. That group was formed in 2010 relative to the flood. Remobilized in March with the tornadoes and the wind storm, and now here again after Christmas Day. Great group: United Way, Community Foundation, Red Cross, Salvation Army, Hands on Nashville, Second Harvest. I know I've forgotten people, and I apologize, but they're doing great work. They have resources for residents in the area, for employees, and for businesses. Make sure that your friends and neighbors and employees, if you're an employer, know about these resources. It can include gift cards, a number of things, very short term and then longer term. They have a 24/7 hotline. I forgot to mention Catholic Charities. I do remember that one. They have a 24/7 hotline. It's 615-340-9719. 615-340-9719. So I urge everybody to make themselves available for those resources that exist out there. So please do it.
Thank you so much, Tom. And Janet, thank you for sharing the history of the district, the mission, and the work that it's doing to help support the recovery. Thank you for being here. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
With that, Ron, I'd turn it over to you to tell us next steps and give us our marching orders.
Well, thank you, Lucy. I appreciate that. I, again, want to thank everybody who's involved. We want to encourage anybody who's volunteering to have a place to go or to contribute. And we will give opportunities in future sessions similar to this for others to speak. But as Janet said, this is going to be a long-term effort. It's going to be expensive for everyone involved. Those of us who are dealing with insurance companies understand that there's issues that go with all aspects of it. So we really do appreciate the work that Tom and the district and the Historic Commission Foundation, as well as all the various volunteer organizations are doing. We're about through with our half hour. We would encourage people to write, to post questions. As Lucy said, we're going to set up a routine form of communications. We're still working on that. And then we're going to, and anybody who wants to participate or get notices and be kept up to date, Tamara Dixon at the Downtown Partnership, T. Dixon at NashvilleDowntownPartnership.com is kind of compiling a list. I appreciate Tamara's help. We'll format all this a little bit better, and we're looking forward to going. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to work on two tracks. One track is going to be the long-term visioning. It's going to take several months to get that vision together, to see how this area, which is so important to Nashville, as Tim and others mentioned, can be continue to be improved and move forward into the decades in the future. We're also going to be looking on a short-term basis of what do we need to do to get people back in their homes and back in their businesses and back in their buildings. And Mayor Cooper, I applaud all the efforts that the departments are making to help work with that. And our goal is to make, as you mentioned, our goal is to comply with your goal, which is to keep it as transparent as possible. So I thank everybody for participating, and I look forward to future events similar to this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we done, Lucy?
Yes, we are. I think you closed us out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.